Yo, Trevor Lane at Laker Nation, you need to stop acting like this wasn't you, man. You need to stop acting like you weren't the one who pushed the kind of team we have now that is not built for the playoffs. Stop acting like that wasn't you, man. For years, you pushed 3-and-D wing, 3-and-D wing. Couldn't keep those words out of your mouth. You pushed a stretch 5. You pushed the death lineup. You pushed all these other stupid ass terms that encourage 3-pointers. And the reason why I bring up Trevor Lane at Laker Nation is because he has the production, he has the tone and the tenor and the cadence in his voice. You know what I mean? To make it sound like he knows what he's talking about, right? And all he's doing with all that stuff is just getting your confidence. He pushed a team that tried to duplicate the Golden State Warriors, right? More threes, right? Damn near at the end of everything he was saying, it all amounted to more 3-pointers, right? And now he's saying, well, what have the playoffs revealed? The playoffs have revealed that the Lakers don't have this, that, and the other. And he commences to talk about big men and being more physical, right? Players that make you more physical. That's not what he was yelling. And he's starting to sound like a con to me, right? It's like if you go in, you need a loan, right? And you got somebody who comes to your meeting and he's wearing a sweatsuit, right? And a t-shirt and sneakers. But he knows everything about that loan and everything to ensure that you make as much money or you lose as little money over the course of 30 years as possible, right? That guy knows everything. And then you got a guy walk in with a 3-piece fitted suit, beautiful shoes, right? Freshly manicured hair, and don't know his ass from a hole in the ground. That's what Laker Nation is starting to sound like to me. That's what Trevor Lane is starting to sound like to me. Right? You can't run around yelling for years to go and try to duplicate something that can't be duplicated. Golden State Warriors cannot be duplicated. Probably will never be duplicated. You're talking about 2 or 3 of the best shooters of all time. And you're sitting there yelling, stretch 5, death lineup, 3-and-D, right? That's what you've been yelling for the last so many years. And then the league said, you know what? We can't do what Golden State did. We can't do it. Now the league is where it's been for the majority of the history of the league. It's doing what the league has done for the majority of its history. It's getting big and physical in the playoffs, and the numbers are coming down. Numbers only went up for people who weren't able to think for themselves, right? Simple-minded, who thought, yeah, 3-pointers is a way to quote another term he likes to use, the new NBA. Man, ain't nothing new under the sun. And if you're copying something that can't be duplicated, then you're a con, and you're fooling yourself, and you're delusional. And that's what the Lakers were. The Lakers were delusional, right? Trevor Lane, you were delusional, man. Tell me those weren't terms that you couldn't keep out your mouth. They were. And again, the reason why I bring you up is because you do have a very good looking show. Your voice is in your cadence, in your tenor, very just very kind of stereotypically talk show hosty. I don't know how else to say it. You know what I mean? That's what your voice is. That's what your show is. It looks great, man, and props to you for getting that off the ground. But own your shit. Own your shit, man. You know? You are the one that was pushing all these threes and all this other craziness, man. You know? And you were pushing it for a team that was incapable of accomplishing it. And now you're talking about, well, what the playoffs revealed. What the playoffs revealed to who? What the playoffs revealed to you? Didn't reveal it to me? I knew. Right? Any Laker fan who could think for themselves, who's over the age of 40, knew. This 3-point shooting cannot be duplicated. It is not the way to go. 31 teams don't have the capability of shooting threes like that and winning. And you thought you could duplicate it. And you used your fantastic platform, man. Use your fantastic platform to sway the minds of the simple-minded and easy to believe that they could actually accomplish what Golden State did, and they couldn't. It was effectively a waste of about 5-6 years for the Lakers since 2020. And that's the other thing that blows my mind, right? You know, for whatever beef anyone had with Anthony Davis when he asked for another center on the roster, just keep in mind, we won a title with that model. And while people may want to discredit the bubble, I've been watching basketball since 1982-83. The bubble was some of the best basketball I've ever seen in my life. It was pure, man. They were balling their ass off. I don't care what anybody says. I watched it. I saw they were balling their ass off. And the Lakers won the title in 2020. And it's 100% legit. The conditions for the Lakers were the conditions for everybody else, and we won the title. Right? Yo, dude, we did it starting Anthony Davis at power forward. Were there times where he played center? Absolutely. But we did it with him playing power forward on that championship team, starting at power forward. And then now it's like a revelation that we need to go back to what worked. Why? Because the way we played was not fun enough for the talking heads. Is that all it was? I mean, it's so simple-minded, man, that it kind of pisses me off. You know, and it speaks to how just the internet is, man. Like, you know, I made a video yesterday in which I said what I believed, that Nikola Jokic is not a top 5 center ever. I mean, shit. He had Alex Caruso and Lou Dort guarding him yesterday and went 5 for 9. That's one. But even bigger than that, the dude has no presence on defense. None. Akeem Olajuwon, Shaq, David Robinson, shit, Moses Malone, even though Moses Malone didn't strike me as a defensive center at all. But Moses Malone, Wilt, any of them cats would have had a bigger impact on defense. Game in and game out. Furthermore, all those cats would have killed Alex Caruso. Yo, could you guys imagine Alex Caruso playing Shaq? Lou Dort playing Shaq? Tell me who's better, man. Really. Right? But the reason why I bring that up is because people flip the F out. I ain't gonna say flip the F out. My channel ain't shit. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that I got more responses from that video in which I was just saying what I thought. And it's just because, man, the internet is that influential, man. Social media is that influential. And that's why I want Trevor Lane to raise his level of intellectualism. Right? Look, man, you got a beautiful platform, man. Respect to you. Seriously, respect to you. You got a great platform. Now think a little bit, man. You know, you'll always have more viewers than me. Right? But know what you're talking about. Stop chasing the styles, man. You know? I was talking to my son the other day about this mumble rap. You know what mumble rap did? Not just mumble rap, but it's the way rap is now. Right? If everyone sounds the same, then no one is bad. If everyone sounds the same, there is no competition. If everyone sounds the same, you can't be ranked. Right? I mean, when I was younger, just for example, man, Method Man sound different than Old Dirty Bastard, sound different than RZA, sound different than Jizza, sound different than Inspector Deck. You know what I mean? That's just one group. Ren sounded different than Dr. Dre, sounded different than Eazy-E, sounded different than Ice Cube. That's one group. Kumo D sounded different than Big Daddy Kane, sounded different than Biz Marquee, sounded different than Stetsasonic, Daddy O, right? Everybody sounded different. It was competition. And what you're starting to see now, and this is what I've started to see, is the internet has become more and more prevalent, is people don't want to stick out. Even when they know the truth, they're safer not knowing the truth. You know? And then those who do step out and say what they do know, good luck to you, man, because you're probably going to have a hard time. Either getting followers, either getting people to not call you a hater, either getting people to say, oh, you're just stupid, erase a video. So whatever, you know what I mean? That's what I'm starting to see, you know, as I've started doing these videos, man, is people are kind of flowing to a safe space. To a space where what they're saying is not going to catch too much hell. You know, and that's why I titled my channel Pure Uncut Lakers. Because what is pure uncut, right? It means it's the raw. It's the realest. It don't get any more pure than that, than what you're getting right there. And that's me, man. You know, I'm not dumbing myself down for the masses. I'm not dumbing myself down for a narrative. I'm not dumbing myself down because it's going to be easier for me. I could give a shit less if anybody watched these videos. Is it better if people do? Yeah, of course. You think I care though? Shit, man, I got, what, 60 videos and 50 followers. I don't care. Like I said, this is therapeutic to me. You know? But it does bother me when I see certain individuals, Trevor Lane in particular, man, that Laker Nation, right? He's acting like it wasn't him. It was him. Right? After a basketball game or after a trade or after whatever, he is where people go to get their news, to get the opinion. If you're a Laker fan, that's where people go. He has the best platform, man, and he's full of shit. I'm just asking you, yo, man, stop being full of shit. That was you who promoted the team and promoted the style that got into the playoffs and was obviously, woefully unprepared. The roster wasn't even right. Because you were on that 3-and-D, stretch 5, stretch big, death lineup, all that other stupid shit that just co-signed more three-pointers. Right? You're the one who thinks players are unplayable because a coach doesn't play them, which is just stupid. The coach chose not to play him. It doesn't mean the player is unplayable. Right? And then now, you know, I listen to you and, you know, you're starting to come off some of that stuff you said because the narrative is starting to change. The narrative changed. And you couldn't blow that much smoke up somebody's ass. Right? And they got to saying, yo, man, those are the guys who got us here. And how could you co-sign not playing any of the guys who got us here when you played Maxi Kleber? Yeah, pretty good point, right? How could you co-sign not playing Dalton Connect after you saw what he did early on in the year as a rookie? Right? And you know, and I hear you talk about Dalton Connect as a trade chip. And it's like, yo, man, I'm just saying, man, you know, it's like busting your fist against the wall, against a brick wall. It starts to feel like it's no point. Because when you look at what he's got and what he worked for, right? Respectfully, what he worked for. Man, he got the mic. He has the mic, man. And he's just allowed to just spout his dumb shit over and over and over again as if it wasn't him. That's what gets me, man. That's what that shit eats at me, man. You know, it's like they say, you know, if a leader were to die, who do the masses listen to? First person who steps to the mic. And, you know, he has the mic. And I just don't want him to influence, you know, what Laker Nation thinks, because, you know, I'm starting to notice, man, people's opinions are getting more and more shallow. Just more and more shallow, man. Just weak. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble. Yeah, I'm starting to vent. Right? It's just that I saw Trevor Lane put a video out on Laker Nation talking about what the Lakers need. And it's like, dude, you're just now realizing this? You got the loudest mic as far as Laker Nation goes, and you're just now realizing this? And you got the mic. You got it. And you're just now realizing this. You know, I feel the same way about Rob Pelinka. You look at that roster. And I said way early on, why did y'all leave Trey Jameson off that roster? Right? All fairness to Rob Pelinka, he couldn't have done it without J.J. Redick saying, yeah, we don't need him. Couldn't have done it. Right? And when you look at J.J. Redick sitting Jackson Hayes, after the first half Rudy Gobert had, how come J.J. Redick didn't correct himself? Did he just have too much pride to correct himself? I don't know, man. Anyway, yo, this is Pure Uncut Lakers. Total straight bitch session. That's what this video is. It's a straight bitch session. Can't even say it. Bitch session. That's what it was. Anyway, y'all, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.